Good morning and welcome, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to join us for iGear Insights. Today, we're diving into our first topic, the digital transformation of visual management boards. My name's Brooks Corfich, and joining me today is our Director of Customer Success, Salim Abanasor. Our goal with iGear Insights is to provide you with valuable knowledge on the latest technology trends and share successful use cases of how technology is reshaping manufacturing processes and helping employees work more efficiently. So today we'll begin with some background on the core functionalities of visual management boards. From there, we'll explore the key business drivers that are accelerating the move towards digital visual management solutions. After that, Salim will take a deeper dive into what digital visual management board would specifically look like using a typical use case, while highlighting implementation strategies from how you may get started. The basics, if you will, to more extended capabilities. Before we hop in, I want to share a simple example that highlights why manufacturers are moving to digital for their visual management boards. I was recently talking with a plant manager at a major automotive company and had asked an employee what her job was. She replied, "I'm the chart fairy." At that moment, he realized there was a problem. This valuable team member was spending her entire day printing and posting charts on boards. It is that conversation that led us to thinking we should start iGear Insights. So I hope you find today's session to be beneficial. To begin, I'm going to spend a few moments speaking to the core functionalities of visual management boards in general, whether paper or digital. So starting with the visualization and standards and performance. This is all about keeping track of performance versus your daily, monthly, and annual goals. Common examples include FMDS boards, SQDC boards, and production boards, to cite a few. Role and responsibility definition. So visual management boards define and develop roles and responsibilities for all team members, supporting on-the-job learning and development through continuous improvement efforts and activities like QC circles. Problem solving. A big component of floor management boards is keeping track of activities and countermeasures to specific problems that have occurred. The board helps understand who's involved, what tasks are due, and what state the activity is in currently or now. Build culture. At the end of the day, these boards are all about building culture and helping the team maintain high standards for things like safety, quality, efficiency, and other organizational values. They also act as a team building tool. It's very important. Alignment with company goals. So visual management boards connect the team member with company performance and success. Helps emphasize that they make a difference each and every day on the decisions that they make, and they make a massive impact, whether good or bad. Lastly, communication and collaboration. Meetings at the line need to be short but effective at communicating what happened yesterday and the priorities for today. A thoughtful layout and organization of the board content is very important, especially when your meeting's only 5 to 10 minutes. Next, we have some shortcomings of paper boards. So before I get started on the digital transformation, I want to have a quick discussion around and review of high level of kind of the concerns and shortcomings of paper boards that we've seen with our customers and those in the industry. So the first would be manual entry and updates. It could take a lot of time to keep paper boards updated every shift, every day, especially when there's a dozen or more boards within a plant. So all the handwriting, printing, and walking not only take time, but it also takes resources. Limited real-time data. So data is only as recent as the last time you walked to the board and put a new piece of paper on that given board. So very limited in how accurate and up-to-date that information is, depending on the last time you were able to get the board updated. Accessibility, you must be standing right at the board to see it. So there's a very high level of proximity constraints. You can't view it from anywhere. You have to be in the plant, specifically even right by that board, to be able to view what everyone else on the team is seeing. Lastly, limited content and editing. So papers are limited and they're very one-dimensional. You can't drill down into the info. So very surface level. Next, we just to touch on some shortcomings of early digital endeavors that we've seen. So we began this journey to develop a digital visual management platform in 2020. So we've worked closely with customers for many years who are also taking the leap from paper to digital, if you will. So through these collaborations, we've consistently identified several core challenges faced in the early stages of digital adoption. The first one is technical resources required. So building a digital visual management platform from the ground up demands a very wide range of technical expertise. That could be from software engineers to developers to even IT specialists. Next is limited user security. So with digital removing the physical boundaries of paper boards, a new question and also concerns arise around how to protect sensitive information, particularly with remote visibility. So establishing secure user authentication, permissions, and access controls become critical and often a very complex task. Challenging to roll out. So if the early stage digital endeavor requires technical support for setup and customization, it can make it very difficult to scale the platform consistently across multiple groups or even within your entire organization. Lastly, limited sources support it. So early digital endeavors are often built to accommodate a very narrow range of file types or data sources. So as operations needs evolve, the demands become broader and real-time integration grows, which ends up requiring further development and scalability within the platform. Let's now focus on the digital transformation and the business drivers for going digital. And we'll start with the category of improved efficiency. Eliminating wasted time is a major driver. So this non-value add work can result in full-time job, like I mentioned earlier with the chart fairy example. With digital boards, you're able to remove that. Team members can spend more time problem solving and removing that non-value add task of printing and posting paper. Live information. Digital boards provide greater opportunity to be working with up-to-date, live, and current information. Ultimate goal is eventually to have the board fill itself out automatically based on machine data. This is possible only with a digital platform. Next, we have more reliable information. So digital boards allow for access to more complete information and the ability to drill down into the data on demand. Information is synchronized with the source file or system within the digital boards, creating a more trusted, accurate overall sources of information. Next, we have flexibility and scalability. So a digital platform allows you to create a centralized hub of all your boards and the ability to edit, enhance, and distribute them on demand. Features like kiosk mode allow you to designate which boards are available to view on physical hardware kiosk, let's say within the plant floor. Next, we have enhanced collaboration. So we'll start with improved accessibility. This is all about innovation and modern technology and what it can bring in terms of being able to view and interact with a digital board from anywhere in the world and on any device. So you don't have to be standing in front of it to see it. Digital boards also enable greater transparency and a more inclusive approach to problem solving. Next, driving action. So digital boards allow you to take shared information with others and bring them into the problem solving process. So imagine being able to message support teams from the board and create actions with workflows and escalation rules to ensure nothing falls through the cracks. Next, we have faster problem solving. So digital boards allow you to get to the true root cause of the issue faster. This leads to better countermeasures and saves time, so eliminating wasted efforts of your team members. Lastly, it also allows you to integrate with other apps. So digital boards allow you for the ability to see live status of your boards in Microsoft Teams, for example. The collaboration platform that we see from a lot of our customers using every single day. So digital boards can allow you to link multiple applications and bring in content from Power BI, Power Apps, websites, videos, and other BI tools, to name a few. Finally, what we've observed as some must-haves for implementing digital boards. So first of all, digital boards must be as easy to use as paper. Paper is easy, and the digital board cannot make life more difficult for the team members than paper. So the board needs to be as user-friendly as paper, but also has to have seamless login and the ability to auto recover if power is lost and restored, for example. So you can't have blank screens all over the plant production floor. Digital boards should be as easy to configure, own, and manage without requiring IT and technical resources. It should be fully self-service for your team. Finally, going digital does introduce new problems to deal with in terms of security, now that all boards are centralized and more accessible. So a digital platform should be able to not only view, but control access in terms of, like I said, who could see, annotate, edit, and even eventually delete boards if they so choose so. So, for example, there should be the ability to make boards private and viewable only by upper management or certain departments, depending on the way your organization is structured. So now I'm going to turn it over to Celine to take you through demos and different implementation approaches. Off to you, Celine.
Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to showcase success stories from our customers who have leveraged our software technology to achieve remarkable results with the digital transformation of visual management boards. These use cases will demonstrate how our solutions have helped businesses reduce downtime, improve quality control, and streamline operations. And what we've found with working closely with our customers on their digital transformation journey with visual management boards is the best way to get started is with really creating paper on glass. And what that means is starting with all of the paper that you typically print out today, the different types of sources like printed out Excel documents, printed out Word and PDF documents, printed out even maybe Power BI reports. Linking those exact same sources into your digital boards is always the best place to start. And with that, sometimes with the paper-based boards, you have some proximity constraints where you have to be nearby the board that's either out on the production floor or maybe in a conference room to be able to see that data, to be able to see the sources within those boards. With the digital-based format, you're able to now see that information pretty much anywhere. So just like the paper-based boards, you can have touchscreen displays out on the production floor or in your conference rooms where you're able to really interact with those boards, interact with the sources within those boards and see that data in real time. But also you can now view that data on your mobile device. You can view that data at a glance at your desktop or any laptop or other computer as well. There is enhancements for security that need to be made. This brings up another issue where you want to make sure as these boards are more accessible, as the sources within those boards are more accessible, you're able to assign proper privileges to users on who is allowed to view, interact with, make changes to, or even design boards altogether. So it needs to have an interface where it's easy to set those permissions. Next, you want to make sure that those sources are live. Today with paper-based boards, a lot of times, when you're printing out these reports, whether they're Excel documents or Power BI reports, for example, a lot of times that information is already maybe a week old, maybe a day old. With the live sources in the digital format, everyone's able to take at a glance of how that report's doing right now. You're connecting to that source directly wherever it's stored, and you're able to see live view of that source. So everyone's always on the same page. Everyone's always seeing the most up-to-date information. And lastly, it needs to be as easy to use as paper. So it needs to be user configurable where it doesn't require someone with a lot of technical skills to be able to build their own boards. It needs to be a very easy drag and drop interface where you can almost plug and chug your sources into a board just like you would with paper today. So getting started with that paper on glass, the first thing is linking your existing sources. So as mentioned earlier, you can see on the left-hand side, a lot of times in these paper-based boards, you have printed out PowerPoint documents. Maybe you have some Word and Excel documents printed out, even Power BI or other types of reports printed out in PDFs. And what you would do is really link those wherever they're hosted today and link those into your digital boards like you can see on the right-hand side here. So this example that you can see in front of you is an example of the digital-based boards. And some of those sources that we highlighted in the previous slide, you're able to see on this board here. So you have your Excel documents, for example, you have your printed out reports and even Power BI reports. And even if you have safety, quality, delivery, cost KPIs that you're tracking on these paper-based boards, you can bring those into that digital platform as well. And we understand a lot of times too with our customers, there are certain boards that require certain layouts and required to be structured in certain ways. And it's very important for that digital platform to be able to also emulate and allow you to replicate that structure, where you can organize your sources into specific columns and rows. You can create headers for that. You can even include title pages, and you can also use your company's color coding to make it streamlined across all of your organization. Now, to get started, again, you want to make sure it's as easy to use as paper, so that when users are building their boards, it doesn't require any coding. It doesn't require a lot of technical skill. It's very easy and very easy to train on as well, and is intuitive. So the way users are able to create and add different sources to their boards, as you can see in this demo here, it's really a drag and drop interface. So when a user wants to add a particular source to their board, they essentially select the region that they want to add the source to. And from there, what that will do is it will bring up a browse of all of the libraries that you've linked your sources to. They then can select the source they want to bring in, they press OK, and then from there, it's very easy to adjust that source, move it around as needed, resize it, and very easy to go. Again, making it as easy as possible for users to be able to replicate those paper-based boards in a digital format. The next thing is making sure those sources are live and up to the moment. Because you're connecting to where those sources are located today, whether that's in SharePoint or whether that's in a Teams folder or a network share, you're connecting to where those are hosted today. So you're always grabbing the latest version of those particular sources. With this board that you see in front of you here, you can see various different sources like some Excel documents, Power BI reports, dashboards, PDFs. And each of these, you can see a preview of each of those sources. Those previews will also update. So that way, if you're walking by a digital board, or if you're at your office or on your mobile device, you can see an update of that source every 5 to 10 minutes. But with each of these sources, as you'll see here, you're able to really drill down into a live version of that report once you open it full screen. So as you open a report to see its details full screen, that's going to bring up a live version of that report. And to make it as intuitive as possible, for example, with a PDF, just like you view a PDF in a web browser, you have your table of contents. You're able to scroll to a particular page number or search for a certain keyword. With your Power BI reports, typically when you're printing out a Power BI report as paper, it's going to be more of a static type of view. Here in this view here, you're able to drill down into that information. So if you have particular filters or criteria set, you can drill down to the shift, the machine name, even the fault type to get a better understanding of your data and really promote continuous improvement from there. With Excel, we understand sometimes with certain paper-based boards, there is some manual data entry where a user has to go up and with pencil make some changes to Excel report, and then that's later manually keyed into a computer to save their changes. This still allows you to make certain changes to your Excel documents, for example, where you can give certain users permissions to do so, and that will automatically save for everyone to see. So again, eliminating that manual process where you have to later go in and manually key in certain data entry, that can be done from a digital board as well. And lastly, if you have certain dashboards where you're following certain KPIs, certain metrics, and you notice that a machine maybe goes down or enters a specific faulted state, you're able to see that in real time. Really important where you have all these sources and these boards that you're bringing into a digital format. They're now accessible everywhere. If some of those sources and boards contain sensitive information, it's really important to make sure that only the right people are viewing those sources or have access to those sources and boards. So with this, it's really important the digital platform has an easy way to be able to add users. You can check off the users or user groups you want to provide permissions to, everything from view access, annotate access, and full control. Then you're able to check off what they should have permission to, press OK, and they're added to that board. So again, making it very easy, very intuitive, where anyone can assign permissions as needed. And lastly, with that paper on glass concept, it's really important for it to be interactive and visible across all devices. So you can see on the left-hand side here, we have a mobile device where you're able to see at a glance your different sources within your board on your phone. In the middle, this can be a touchscreen display, 65-inch out on the production floor or in a conference room where you're able to drill down into the different sources and see those update in real time. And on the right-hand side, you see a Microsoft Teams view application that a lot of people are in all day, every day, where you're able to see at a glance, how is your board running? How are your KPIs on your board, no matter where you are? Now, a lot of our customers, they will start with that paper on glass concept, and they will just transition from paper to digital and keep it that way with their digital boards. And that's how, they prefer to do it. And that's completely fine. Some of our customers, they do some what we call extended capabilities, where they take their boards a little step further and add some additional sources or features to their boards that maybe they weren't able to do in a paper-based setting. So the first example of that is additional sources. When you're in a paper-based board, there are a few sources that you're really not able to bring into that type of format. One good example of this are video files and various different web pages as well. When you're in a digital format, you're able to bring in that new type of sources into your digital-based board. And there's a few other things you can bring in as well. So you have your videos, you have your web pages that you can now bring in. You can also bring in the weather for X amount of days. Maybe some sticky notes, almost like meeting reminders, team announcements. You can bring in activities and tasks where you can track various different countermeasures, organize those into various different buckets, assign contributors, assign due dates, and be able to mark them completed as they progress. And then you can also bring in things like the date and time as well as company logos. So here, what you'll be able to see with bringing in those additional sources like videos, you can bring in training videos, you can bring in safety videos that are required to be watched by your team members. You're able to blow those up full screen, pause them as needed, play them. They support sound as well. And again, it adds another layer to your boards that maybe you didn't have in that paper-based format. And so kind of closing on this note, what you're able to see here is with your original boards, you were able to bring in things like Word and Excel and PowerPoint, maybe that you printed out. But now with a digital-based format, you're able to synchronize those with where they're hosted. So SharePoint folders, Teams folders, network shares. You're also able to integrate with your Active Directory. So you can keep the users keeping the same login streamlined across all their different software platforms. You're able to view this information on any device and even in Microsoft Teams. And you can bring in different types of sources maybe you didn't have before, like the web applications like Ignition and Power Apps and IBM Maximo, or video files and live stream. And at the bottom, maybe you could have printed out some of Power BI or Grafana or SQL Server Reporting Services reports, but now you have the opportunity to really drill down into those reports and filter them out to see the data that's really important to you. The second and extended capability that we see some of our customers take advantage of is enhancing the collaboration on those boards. So when something's going south, the KPI that you're tracking on a paper-based boards or a digital board is going south, how do we make sure we drive action from that with integrated messaging where it can even go to Microsoft Teams? How do we make sure that we provide the team member, the team leader that we're targeting with those messages particular steps that they need to go through in order to resolve that issue with workflows to give them guidance? And then how do we make sure if it's not dealt with or resolved within a given amount of time, we can bring in expert help with automatic escalation rules based off time-based intervals or priority levels? And this will give you access really to a new data set of the digital thread of all of your events and actions taken around those events, as well as your various countermeasures and being able to track the progress of those various different action plans. So here, what you'll see on the left-hand side is a downtime history Power BI report. And you'll see as team members noticing that maybe this report is, a specific metrics trending in the wrong direction. What they're able to do is immediately send out a message where they're able to include certain context within the message body. You're able to even include a particular snapshot of the image, set a priority level, define a workflow and escalation rule that needs to be followed. So what is the step-by-step guidance for that team lead? And what is the escalation rule if they don't respond or acknowledge? On the right-hand side, you can see the team leader's Microsoft Teams chat. They immediately get that notification within Microsoft Teams, and they're able to see a snapshot of exactly what their team member is looking at on their digital board. Directly within Microsoft Teams, they're also able to acknowledge that and interact with the workflow, where you can see the timestamp of when that was sent out and also when it was acknowledged as well. Again, giving you that digital thread of every single action taken to resolve that issue. And next, you'll see the activities and countermeasures, where you're able to track the progress of various different tasks you have, track due dates, mark them as completed, and move them through the progression of your workflow for your activities and countermeasures as well. So again, this all gives you access to a new data set to really promote continuous improvement within your organization, promote mean time for response, and resolve issues quicker. And lastly, the last extended capability is going to be that real-time connectivity. So one of our customers described it as, when they first started with paper on glass, their end goal was really to have all the sources really populate themselves so that when users and team members are interacting with those sources and viewing them in their beginning of shift meetings or huddle meetings, they're able to get insights into real data from the production floor. And so they do this by connecting to machines, connecting to PLCs, databases, so that those reports are dynamically populated, integrating with external systems. Maybe you didn't with paper-based boards like maintenance CMMS systems, ERP systems, and MES systems. Adding context to your data. So for example, what shift was that data collected in? What part was being produced during that time? Again, provides more valuable insights to your team so they can better analyze those, make better decisions, and again, promote continuous improvement. So here, what you'll see in this example, various different types of reports where you can, again, once you open those full screen, you're seeing those in real time. So as machines go down in certain area, enter specific fault states, as maybe certain areas are calling for parts, calling for maintenance, you're able to see that in real time. Similarly, this is an ignition report, for example, where you can see all of the active alarms and see them as they clear off the active alarm list as well. You have your Power BI reports where you're able, again, to really drill down into particular criteria set, see what went wrong the previous day or the previous shift, and understand better how you can improve from that or how you can prevent a particular issue from occurring again. And lastly, the last report you'll see is a Grafana report, but this can be any type of web-based report where you're, again, able to track various different live metrics and KPIs in real time and get an at-a-glance view of everything that's going on. So in summary, with the journey of digital transformation of visual management boards, you can see the first step usually on the left-hand side is getting started with that paper on glass, where you're taking that existing sources that you have with your paper-based boards, your Excel documents, your Word documents, your PDFs, and you're linking those into your digital boards, but you're making them visible across all of your devices. You're able to assign privileges and security permissions to those. They're live, so everyone's always on the same page with the data, seeing the most up-to-date data, and they're as easy to use as paper, where you can drag and drop. It's no code and user configurable. Along that journey, you're able to easily extend those capabilities with adding additional sources, enhancing the collaboration and driving action, and providing real-time connectivity to your sources, but you do not have to go that route. It's just things we've seen from our customers and experience with working with them closely as they transform from paper to digital and have this digital transformation journey. All right, well, thank you all so much, and I'm going to turn it over to Brooks to wrap things up.
Thanks, Celine, for sharing those valuable insights, and thank you all for joining us and for your time today. We hope you found the session valuable. If you have any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me or anyone on the iGear team. We look forward to having you join us for future iGear Insights events. Until then, take care and have a great day.